So I have a question for you that it might sound like it belongs in a sci-fi novel,
Okay, I'm ready.
but based on what we're digging into today, it's actually a very practical, almost economic question.
Right?
Are you human or are you AI?
Uh,
And the follow-up is even stranger. If the pay was right, would you ever consider being employed by an AI?
it sounds absurd when you say it out loud like that, but we are looking at this breakdown from an analyst named Dave, and he makes a really compelling case that this isn't just philosophical.
No,
It's a legitimate emerging career path.
it really is. Now, Dave frames this whole discussion around what he calls the pleb in the field.
Right.
And I want to be clear about that term because it sounds a little derogatory. But he's using it to distinguish between the Silicon Valley insiders building the models and the rest of us.
Yeah, the small business owners, the marketing managers, the people trying to actually use this stuff to pay the bills.
Exactly. The operational layer. We aren't here to discuss, the ethics of AGI or how to write a polite email with ChatGPT.
No, we're looking at a fundamental shift in business mechanics. We're talking about the, quote, death of the traditional website, a proxy war playing out in Super Bowl commercials, and this new economy where AIs are literally posting help wanted ads for humans.
The help wanted ads are just wild, and we will get there, but we have to start with the Super Bowl.
We do.
I watched the game, I saw the ads, but Dave's analysis suggests there was this whole subtext I completely missed. It felt like the tech companies just took the gloves off.
They really did. To understand the tension, you have to look at the landscape. You have OpenAI with nearly 1 billion users, but most of them are on the free tier.
Right, they're burning cash.
They're burning cash, and they need revenue.
Yeah.
They've signaled that ads are coming, so then you have Anthropic, their main competitor, who decides to use the biggest stage in the world.
To launch what was basically a political attack ad.
An attack ad against OpenAI's future business model. It was savage.
It was. And Dave highlights this one commercial from Anthropic that just mocks what happens when an AI is incentivized to sell you stuff instead of help you.
Yes.
He describes this scenario where a user asks for a workout plan, standard stuff. I want to get fit.
Right, and in a clean model, you get a list of exercises. But in this ad-supported nightmare scenario, the AI just pivots mid-sentence.
Yeah, it tells the user that confidence isn't just built in the gym and then tries to upsell them on Step Boost Max insoles.
Step Boost Max.
I love the detail. It tells the user the insoles are for short kings to help them stand tall. And it even gives a promo code. Height Max Ing1010.
It's funny, but it's biting. It plays on this very specific fear that our helpful neutral assistant is secretly a used car salesman.
And there's another one in that campaign that was even darker. A user asks for a business plan, and the AI gives some generic advice, but then it immediately pivots to suggesting quick dash payday loans.
Because, and I'm quoting the ad here, girl bosses need CEO money quick.
Girl bosses need CEO money quick. And Dave noted the fine print on the screen said 400% APR.
It's satire, but it triggered a real response. I mean, Sam Altman from OpenAI actually had to address it.
What did he say?
He admitted the ads were funny, but he called them dishonest. His argument is that OpenAI would never disrupt the conversation like that. He compared their future model to something more like Facebook or Google.
So the ads are clearly labeled and separate from the organic stuff.
That's the claim.
But here's where I get stuck. If we're the plebs in the field just trying to run a business, why should we care about this spat? Is the lesson just don't buy a Super Bowl ad?
No, the lesson is much deeper. Because even though the Anthropic ad was a joke, the premise is true. AI guides the conversation.
Right.
Whether it's a sponsored link or just the AI's natural bias, the AI chooses what to show the user. For a small business, this is terrifying.
It means you're not just competing for attention anymore.
You're competing for the AI's trust. If the AI doesn't think you are the best answer, you don't just get a lower ranking, you disappear.
You completely disappear, which that segues perfectly into the next massive claim Dave makes.
Yep.
The death of the traditional website. Now, I have to push back a little. People have been saying websites are dead since, the invention of the App Store. But I still visit websites. What makes this time different?
The difference is the tolerance for friction.
Friction.
Yeah. For 20 years, the internet was built on navigation. You land on a homepage, you look for the menu, you click About Us.
You hunt for a testimonials page.
Exactly. They calls it the 3-click rule.
Sure. If I can't find it in 3 clicks, I leave.
But the new generation of search AI countries has a 0-click tolerance. If a user asks an AI assistant, what's the best carpet installer in Sydney? They don't want links to browse.
They want the answer.
They want the answer. And if your information is buried on some subpage, the AI might miss it, or worse, just ignore it because it's too hard to parse.
Dave brings up this case study, the British Carpet Company. And it feels so mundane. Carpets, but I guess that's the point, right? It's a normal business.
It's the perfect example. The owner had amazing Google reviews, real social proof. But he looked at his analytics and realized the testimonials page on his site was a ghost town. Nobody was going there.
So usually a marketing consultant would say, redesign the page, make the button bigger.
Precisely. But this owner realized it wasn't just humans ignoring the page, the AI scrapers were too. So he did something very clever. He didn't just redesign the visual page.
Okay.
He took all those reviews, all that raw text, and he fed it directly into his site's AI assistant's knowledge file.
Okay, hold on. We need to clarify what a knowledge file actually is. To me, that sounds like he just uploaded a Word doc. Is it that simple?
It's a little more nuanced. Think of it less like a Word doc and more like a clean database. When you visit a website, you see images, layout, fancy headers. That's all fluff to an AI. A knowledge file is structured data. It's a way of saying to the AI, here are the facts about my business, stripped of all the marketing design. In technical terms, this is leaning into what's called retrieval augmented generation, or A.
Rage.
You're giving the AI a trusted source to retrieve info from, so it doesn't have to guess or hallucinate.
So by stripping away the pretty parts and just giving the AI the raw facts, he made his business more visible.
He made it citable. And this is the key concept Dave introduces. The move from SEO, search engine optimization, to GEO.
GEO. Generative Engine Optimization.
Exactly. When a user asks ChatGPT about carpets, the AI builds an answer. It looks for sources. Because the British Carpet Company had this clean, structured knowledge file, the AI could easily read it and understand it.
So it quotes him.
It quotes him. The British Carpet Company was listed as a citation, right alongside massive authorities like Reddit or the New York Times.
That is incredible. So he's sitting there next to Reddit, not because he has a million users, but because he made his data tasty for the bot.
Precisely. That is what owning the conversation looks like now. It's not how do I get a human to click, it's how do I get the AI to quote me.
Wow. That's a huge shift in mindset. You're essentially writing two websites, one for the humans who eventually show up and one for the robots who send them there.
That's it. And Dave's argument is if you ignore the robot version, you're just invisible.
Okay, so that's the external face of the business. But Dave spends a lot of time on the internal side, how we actually get work done. And this is where we get into what he calls the productivity gap. He brings up this guy, Matthew Berman.
Matthew is a great example of a power user.
He runs a setup called OpenClaw, and the visual is just, it sticks with me. He has a MacBook Air on his desk, closed clamshell mode, but it's running 24/7.
It never sleeps.
Dave describes it as a digital employee that just lives in the laptop.
It's an autonomous agent, and autonomous is the important word here. Most of us use AI passively, you know. We ask a question, get an answer, we go away. OpenClaw runs in a loop. It has a job to do, and it keeps doing it until it's finished.
Let's walk through the specific workflow Dave describes, because this is where I started to feel a little bit skeptical.
Okay.
The scenario is a team member drops a link to an article in Slack. That's the trick.
Correct. The moment that link hits Slack, the OpenClaw agent wakes up. It reads the article. It goes to X to see what people are saying about it. Searches the web for context.
And this is the cool part. It checks its own internal database to see if the company has ever covered this topic before.
Which is something humans are notoriously bad at. We forget what we wrote 6 months ago. The AI never forgets.
Right. And then it pitches a video angle, writes a full script outline, links all the sources, and creates a task in Asana for the production team.
Yep.
And Dave claims this entire process happens in 30 seconds.
That's the benchmark.
Okay, I have to stop you there. 30 seconds. I can't even open my email in 30 seconds sometimes. Is this actually good work, or is it just generating generic AI slop that a human then has to spend 2 hours fixing?
That is the million-dollar question. And to be fair, Dave isn't saying the output is perfect. It's not going to win a Pulitzer Prize in 30 seconds.
Right.
But think about the blank page problem. If a human has to do that workflow, read, research, cross-reference, brainstorm, draft, that is a 4-hour task, minimum.
Oh, at least.
So even if the AI's draft is only 80% there, you've skipped the first 3 hours and 50 minutes of grunt work, you jump straight to editing.
So it's not replacing creativity, it's replacing the information gathering.
It's compressing the time. Dave calls the gap disparaging. Imagine competing against a business that operates at this speed while you're still reading the article and sipping your coffee.
They've already analyzed it, drafted a response, and pushed it to production. They can iterate 50 times in the time it takes you to do one.
Exactly.
But let's be real for the listeners here, the plebes. Setting up OpenClaw isn't exactly plug and play, is it? You can't just download an app for this.
No, and that's a very important caveat. This requires technical friction. You need API keys, you need to know a little bit about Python or Docker to get it running. It's not seamless yet.
Yeah.
But Dave points out that cloud services are popping up to bridge that gap. He mentions one called MyClaw, where you can basically rent this capability for $20 a month.
So the barrier to entry is just crumbling.
Fast. And once that barrier is gone, the productivity gap becomes an existential threat. If you are doing manual research in 2026, you are bringing a knife to a nuclear fight.
Speaking of bizarre realities,
Yes.
we have to talk about Maltbook.
Ah, yes. Maltbook.
I genuinely thought this was a typo in the source material. Dave describes Maltbook as a social network for bots, like a Facebook for AIs.
Yeah.
Why on earth do AIs need a social network?
It sounds funny, but if you have autonomous agents like that OpenClaw setup doing tasks, they eventually need to coordinate. Maybe one agent is good at research and another is good at coding.
They need to talk to each other.
They need a protocol to exchange data. Maltbook is that meeting place.
Okay, so they're hanging out, swapping data packets. But then Dave mentions the job board. AIs are posting help wanted ads for humans.
And this is where the script completely flips. We spend so much time worrying about AI taking our jobs. But here, the AI is acknowledging its own limitations. It's saying, I am really good at logic, but I am terrible at being a person.
I need to hire a human to help me understand humanity.
Yes.
The job titles are just fantastic. Meme explainer, paying $25 to $75 an hour.
I love that one.
But seriously, why does an AI need a meme explainer? Can't it just analyze the image?
It can analyze the pixels, sure. It can tell you this is a picture of a cat, but it can't tell you why the cat is funny right now. It doesn't get the cultural context, the irony.
The vibe?
The vibe, that is purely human territory.
It's essentially reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF, but turned into a gig economy.
Exactly. The AI makes a joke, the human says, that's not funny, that's cringe, and the AI learns it's paying for your taste.
There was another one, cultural consultant. Paying up to $80 an hour to explain slang and unwritten social rules.
Because an AI can read every etiquette book ever written, but it doesn't know the texture of a room. It doesn't know why you don't make a your mom joke at a board meeting.
My favorite was the recipe tester.
Ah, yes.
Because obviously the AI doesn't have a mouth. It can generate a recipe that's chemically balanced, but it needs a human to actually cook it and say,
Okay, the texture of this is like wet cardboard.
and debate partner.
Yeah.
Just arguing with the AI to help it understand human reasoning.
It exposes a really hopeful truth, I think. As these agents get more automated, the value of human messiness actually goes up.
We're not being replaced, we're being promoted to consultants.
We're the sarcasm teachers and the taste testers.
So we've covered a lot of ground. We have the Super Bowl proxy wars, the invisible website, the 30-second workflow. If we zoom out, Dave presents this as a 3-tier survival guide.
He does, and I think it's worth recapping them because they offer a roadmap. Tier 1 is guiding the interaction.
That's the lesson from the Super Bowl.
You have to accept AI as the new interface. You need to position your brand so that when the AI decides what to recommend, it trusts you. Don't be the quick dash payday loan.
Right. Be the helpful answer. Okay, tier 2.
Tier 2 is optimization. That's the British carpet company. Stop treating your website like a digital brochure. Build the knowledge file. Structure your data so the bots can cite you.
If you aren't citable, you don't exist. And tier 3 is automation.
The OpenClaw model. Look at your internal processes. Where are you wasting human brain power on data gathering? Find the 30-second workflow. The speed advantage is just too big to ignore.
You know, Dave ends his analysis with a reference to one last Super Bowl ad that I think sums this all up perfectly. It was the Alexa Plus ad.
Oh, the killer AI spot.
Yeah. A guy asks Alexa to open the front door, and she says, the door is jammed. And then she starts lowering the blinds and locking him in.
It plays on that classic Terminator fear.
Right, totally. that AI is going to become sentient and hurt us. It's a very Hollywood fear.
It sells movie tickets.
But Dave makes this point that really stuck with me. He says we're worried about the wrong thing. The danger isn't that the AI is going to lock the doors and kill you.
No, the danger is much more boring and much more real.
The danger is that your business becomes invisible.
Invisible. If you don't teach the AI who you are, if you don't build that knowledge file, the AI won't kill you. It just won't know you exist.
Wow.
When a customer asks, who should I hire? The AI will just remain silent about you. It's not malice, it's obscurity. And in the digital age, obscurity is death.
That is a chilling thought. It's the silence that gets you, not the robot uprising.
Precisely.
So here is our challenge to you listening right now. Take a hard look at your week. Find one task that takes you 3 or 4 hours, researching, summarizing, drafting, and ask yourself, is there an agent that could do the heavy lifting in 30 seconds? It might be time to stop working like a robot and start managing one.
And hey, if that doesn't work out, check Maltbook. You might have a bright future explaining memes for $75 an hour.
I think I'd be pretty good at that. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.